Hello everyone, this is part 1 of What If Naruto Had the Ninetails and the Shinigami sealed inside him. This story is made by roguewinds, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, to share, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Join my membership, the perks are great. It's in the description. Be sure to like and subscribe, it gives me more motivation. Enjoy. Get out of here, you freak. An angry villager shouted as him and 3 others threw rocks at a sad blonde toddler. Yaron, take your demon with you. Another villager said, throwing a big rock at the boy's head, which knocked him back, having blood trickling down his head. The boy stood in shock as pebbles and medium-sized rocks were being thrown at his back. The people were angry and this boy didn't know why. He was utterly confused and depressed. He had just walked down the street and these people hated him without giving him a chance. The boy's anger welled inside him and a white substance started forming on the right side of his face. The substance hardened and stretched across his face. It was a mask. A weird mask at that. It had brownish-black designs across the right and skeleton-like teeth at the mouth. A red aura started to radiate from him as the boy turned around and violently began to strike the villagers down. All of a sudden, Junin and Anbu rushed to the scene as they saw the blonde-haired boy on his knees, his hands covered in blood and a mask in front of his knees. They all looked at the whisked boy with a shocked expression. They then began to mumble to each other on what to do and eventually just picked him up and took him home. One of the Anbu stepped up to the mask and picked it up, looking at it oddly. It was similar to an Anbu mask, but it had more features. He decided to let the kid keep it and then caught up with the rest. XXX. This skips to the final fight in the wave arc with Kakashi, Zabuza, Haku, Naruto and Sasuke, and him making Haku a girl because honestly, a boy can't look like that, not even in Japan. Sasuke, you kid him. A blonde-haired ninja yelled out, looking at one of the iced mirrors that shined the reflections of the mysterious Haku. In each mission you risk losing someone, you shoulder understand that, boy, Haku stated without any sincere tone. Shut up, Naruto said as he safely put Sasuke aside and slowly got on his feet, growling a bit. He then heard a shift in the wind as something was thrown from the sky and espered into the ground. Naruto looked at it and saw that it was a uniquely designed sword. The sword's hilt was orange, having a diamond-shaped design like most katanas have on the vertical part of the hilt. The diamond things were blue, reminding Naruto of his jumpsuit. The guard had a spiral-like shape to it. The blonde-haired ninja took this golden opportunity to leap to the sword and grab it. Of course, Haku noticed this motion and all the mirrors had sharp needles darting towards Naruto. The boy grabbed the sword and tried blocking some, but failing miserably and getting violently LD. Naruto growled as red chakra began to swarm his body but was interrupted by a white substance going over his face. It was that mask again that Naruto thought he had put away at his house. He then blanked out and this mask began to take over. Naruto then looked around and immediately found the real one. His right sleeve sped and became a bit muscular and pure white with black and red vein-like markings covering it. Naruto appeared in front of the real Haku so fast that she had no time to move to another mirror. Naruto simply punched through the mirror with that white hand, having a dark energy swarm over and hit Haku's face and slamming her onto the ground. Naruto leaped out of the mirrors and looked over at Haku, his eyes having a savage touch to it under that mask. His eyes also turned yellow. Is that Naruto? Sakura said in shock as her and her sensei stood at the sidelines and watched in terror at the whisked ninja's appearance. It seems that way. I don't get the mask part though. What is that? Kakashi asked, mainly to himself, looking closely at Naruto. It seems Haku has met an equal. Zabuza said as he was near the two from the beginning. An equal? What do you mean by that? The pink-haired shinobi asked, looking towards him. You'll see, Zabuza said, smirking a bit. So, you're a wizard? Well, I suppose I shouldn't hold back then. Haku said, then removed her mask. Her face had drastically changed from the last time Naruto and Haku met. Haku had then twitched and immediately changed from a human to this overgrown monster with a white mask with no design. In other words, from being a sort of pretty girl, remember that Haku is a girl in this fic, to being a butt ugly hollow. I had used what little genjutsu I learned to disguise her true appearance. She had only unleashed it once before this time, she must think Naruto is a threat, Zabuza said. So she's a hollow. I thought hollows were people who went where all the bad souls go. Does that mean she's? Sakura stated, not finishing her sentence though but looking at Zabuza hoping he would fill in. Yes she is, but I am the only one that can control her, you could say. She SD on the streets when her family SD, I believe. Zabuza said. I doubt you could control something like that. Kakashi said, looking at the hollow Haku. Well Wizard, show me your stuff, the hollow Haku said in a deep dark voice. Naruto said nothing and that form did not faze him at all. He ran up to the hollow with his sword held at his side as he jumped up and attempted to slash at her. Haku stepped to the left which made the right side of the bridge crumble from the force of her movement. She then swung her head at Naruto trying to hit him and make him fall into the water. Naruto balled up his right fist, the fist that had gotten muscular and white. He slashed at her mask which oddly hurt Haku as she stepped back. Naruto then tightened his sword's grip and swung at the hollow Haku. The sword slashed and the hollow Haku growled in pain and slashed at Naruto's stomach. It sped off the mid part of his jacket and black shirt revealing some chain attached where his belly button should be. The hollow slashed at it and made the chain thing off. The mask then disappeared and Naruto went back to his other form staring wide-eyed at the chain that just detached from him. Naruto looked down and then felt lightheaded. He felt a sudden surge of pain erupt into his body, but then he felt a soothing feeling as he seeped out from his body and slowly started to lose consciousness. The last thing he saw was his body lying on the ground, and the hollow Haku lying there motionless with a puddle of blood around them. Naruto woke up in an alley of a town. He slowly got up having a bad migraine. He looked down to see that he had his orange pants and black shirt on, but not his orange and blue jacket. He also had the sword that he found back with the Haku fight strapped to his back. He didn't question this and decided to take a look around the town. A black cat began to walk along the rooftops of the buildings but then stopped and twitched, then said to him out of herself. That Ryatsu, it's like that of a captain's, but none of the captains ever go to this town, and this one is different. Who is this? The cat then locked onto the Ryatsu and began to try and track the person down. After a few hours of tracking, the black cat finally saw the boy who possessed this spiritual pressure. She decided to stalk him a bit before doing anything drastic and making a scene. She was surprised that a 12-year-old boy could have this. He had great potential, or so she thought. The cat then decided to wait till he turned to a place where not many people were, and if they were there they could not hear them talk at all. The cat then jumped over Naruto and in front of him, staring at him. Hey kitty, Naruto said, confused at what the cat wanted. Your Ryatsu is high, that of a captain's. Are you an Arrancar? The cat asked in a man voice, although the cat was a girl. Holy yes. You just talked to me. Naruto said, then started panicking and mumbling to himself. Yes, these things are quite normal here in the Soul Society, so get used to it. The cat said and jumped up and clawed his face so he could calm down. Before Naruto could say anything about her slashing him, the cat asked, do you even know where you are, boy? Well, no I don't. I remember fighting this one person, then grabbing a sword. I looked at my hand for a split second and it was going completely white, then I blacked out and now I'm here. Naruto said, putting his left hand behind his head. I see, so you must have just arrived. Let me ask you this then, has the term Soul Reaper ring any bells in your mind? The cat asked and Naruto shook his head. This boy just got into the Soul Society and having a Ryatsu of a captain's caliber, he must be a Soul Reaper, maybe he lost his memory or something. The cat said to herself. What is your name, boy? Naruto Uzumaki. Mine's Yoroiki. Isn't that a girl's name? Yes, I am in disguise as a cat for various reasons. Oh, I see, well I should go now. Wait, follow me. So Naruto did follow Yoroiki and they arrived in the military zone of the Soul Society, where all the Shinigami were. Almost immediately each captain sensed the great Ryatsu coming near. They sent their lieutenants to secretly check out the place. When the lieutenants saw Naruto, they reported back saying it was just a boy. This got the Squad 1 captain's attention. He decided to send his lieutenant out to test the boy. After flash stepping halfway to Naruto's location, the Squad 1 lieutenant, whose name is Chojiro Sasuke, he stood in front of Naruto unsheathing his Zanpakuto. It was an average katana with an ornate double-fanned handguard and a yellowish-green handle. He then pointed it at Naruto. The cat stepped back and hissed, but Chojiro paid no attention to it and focused his attention to the blonde-haired boy. We all sensed your Ryatsu the second you walked in, that means you must be good. Chojiro said as Naruto started to panic as he knew he was getting ready for a fight. The two began to try and stare down each other while the black cat jumped up to section on the wall she could hang on that was safe from the upcoming battle. Naruto stepped back as his hands began to slowly come together, waiting for the other person to attack. In a split second Chojiro dashed towards him and basically attempted to swing. Naruto immediately stepped back, then ducked and attempted to sweep kicked him, although Chojiro flash stepped behind Naruto and attempted to slash him yet again. The blonde-haired boy dashed back and rolled a bit. He then made 15 shadow clones, each rushing towards Chojiro attempting to wildly punch him. Clones? That's new. Chojiro said as he slashed each one of them as they all disappeared. Naruto then appeared from the smoke that the clones left behind and punched Chojiro back, but got slashed by his sword when Chojiro swung it to the left. The two then stared each other down with the lieutenant looking interested, but not impressed. Naruto, use your Zanpakuto, that weapon is your life, the cat said as she saw the lieutenant charge at the whisked boy again. Zanpakuto. What the hell is that? Naruto said as he saw the blade come towards him and rolled to the left, then dashed to the right to avoid another attack by Chojiro. The cat groaned, then simply said, use your sword. Naruto then nodded and unsheathed his sword and clashed blades with the lieutenant. Naruto then started to wildly slash at the lieutenant and all Chojiro did was parry and slash him in the arm. Naruto then clashed blades with him again and they both tried to push him to knock him off guard. Chojiro eventually pushed him back and slashed him once more. Naruto espered his sword in the ground and put his feet on the hilt and used it as some momentum to dash towards Chojiro. Naruto made 3 clones while Chojiro slashed the one he thought was the real Naruto. The other 2 clones palm thrusted Chojiro into the ground, but were eventually espered and slashed. Naruto looked at his sword and ran toward it but saw that Chojiro was in front of it already and had it in his hand. Idiot. Don't ever let go of your sword. What did I say before? That weapon is your life. Yoroiki nagged. The cat's right, you just messed up, little man. Chojiro said and attempted to accurately slash Naruto with both swords. Oh, I don't think so. Naruto declared and quickly put his foot on one of the blades and jumped up, then kicked Chojiro down and made a clone below the lieutenant. The clone kneed Chojiro from behind to make him stay up midway in the air. Naruto then roundhouse kicked Chojiro into the wall. Naruto then landed on the ground as he saw the lieutenant flash step behind him and deeply slash him in the back. Naruto then fell to his knees and was about to fall down. Yet right before he touched the ground, a white substance swarmed his face and morphed into his hollow mask. His right arm became pale and then muscular with black vein designs along it. He's a wizard, Yoroiki said to herself as she saw Naruto's transformation. A wizard? But how? Chojiro exclaimed as the hollow Naruto punched Chojiro's blade as they clashed with each other. Naruto then extended his punch and sent Chojiro flying and landing on a roof a few miles back. Chojiro had sent a message to the captains that sent him, but they had already known. Ukate, Squad 13 captain, rushed to the scene and immediately got hollow Naruto back to regular Naruto. Naruto toppled over unconscious again from his recent transformation. Ukate picked Naruto up, then looked at the black cat and then flash stepped off. Ukate went to a hospital area, mainly the 4th Division out off squad's area, and set him on a cot in the main hospital over there. Ukate then walked off and arrived where he and the other captains were. Chojiro was already there and he had a few bruises on him only done when Naruto turned hollow. The blonde-haired boy's normal attacks hardly fazed him. So how did the boy do? One of the captains said looking at Chojiro. Well, he isn't scared at swordsmanship whatsoever. He hardly used it, but he turned into a hollow during the end of our fight. I'm guessing you all sensed that. Chojiro said, seeing everyone nod. So he's a wizard. I think if someone could train him how to fight with a sword, we could branch off of that and he could be a good asset to the Soul Society. Shigekuni Yamamoto Genryosai, the first squad captain, I'm just gonna call him Shigekuni, stated looking around to see who would be good to train him. I know a person that might train him. Yoroiki said in her cat form as she walked into the area. Yoroiki, who would you suggest? Shigekuni asked. Urahara, but the only way to train him is to go back to the real world. Yoroiki said. No, I don't fully trust that man yet, he was banned for a reason, Yoroiki. Shigekuni stated. What about you, Byakuya? Shigekuni said, looking towards the 6th squad captain. I don't like that kid, I am sure we will not get along if I trained him, so no. Byakuya stated with a spin-tingling monotone. I understand, how about you, Kyoraku? All you would have to do is teach him how to be a decent swordsman and teach him some useful techniques that he might branch off in the future. Shigekuni said, looking over at Kyoraku. Oi, I guess I could do it, it's not like I have anything else to do. Does that mean he is in the 8th squad? Kyoraku asked with a lazy expression. Sure, I don't see why not. So it is decided, Kyoraku, you train him and maybe when he's ready take him on a mission or against a hollow. The old captain declared as the captains were dismissed then. Ukitake and Kyoraku walked beside each other on their way out talking about the boy. They both went their separate ways after Ukitake gave Kyoraku directions on where Naruto was. Yoroiki decided to run ahead to where Naruto was held. Naruto slowly opened his eyes and saw he was in a room and in a cot. Naruto looked around and saw his sword leaned on the corner of the room. He simply scoffed, not wanting anything to do with the sword, thinking his abilities will serve him better than the sword. Naruto slowly got up, having a headache again. I blacked out again, man, I wonder if I won that fight, Naruto thought as he slowly wobbled over to his sword and stared at it. Stupid sword, I don't see what's the big deal with it. Naruto said and smacked the sword down. Naruto then turned to see a shadow appear behind the door, and by the motion the person was doing it looked like how if Shay was going to open it. After a few minutes he saw that it was a man with a pink flower-like robe on along with a captain's robe and a light blue sash. He also had a shugegasa, Japanese straw hat. Naruto stepped back, raising his hands in a defense instead of picking up his sword. You think you could beat me hand to hand? Kyoraku asked, raising a brow and grinning. If I didn't think I could, would my hands be up? Naruto replied. You won't last 10 seconds without a sword, boy, mainly everyone in this world, a pretty good swordsman. You need to learn to be one too. And if I refuse, I can take care of myself without that stupid sword. Naruto said, pointing to the katana he smacked down. Well, you'll be SD up before you can count to 3. Really, the last person I fought wasn't so tough and he used a sword. He was holding back, of course, and a certain part of you took over. What do you mean by that? I'll tell you later, now is not the time to talk about this. Fine, so why are you here? I have been given orders to train you, with a sword of course. Forget it, I'm not gonna use some stupid piece of metal. I have my own abilities that can fend off pretty much anything. Hey, well, it seems you haven't seen the power of some of these people, nor do you understand what a shikai or bon kai is. This is gonna be harder than I thought, Kyoraku said, sighing in the thought of training this boy. Look, kid, just grab your sword and follow me. Where you're going to go, you'll need it. You're a Soul Reaper now and you need that sword. Kyoraku stated in a serious tone and then turned around about to leave. Soul Reaper, Naruto said in a questioning tone. I'll explain on the way if you follow me, and pick up your damn sword. Kyoraku said, getting a bit agitated. Naruto nodded and picked up his sword and walked beside Kyoraku. The captain then explained that Soul Reapers were basically the protectors of the real world. He had also explained the Gote 13 and about the captains and lieutenants. He then told about the Soul Reapers Shikai and he told the Bon Kai, making sure to emphasize it so he would either want to try and achieve Bon Kai, or fear it and respect his Zanpakuto. He had also explained that the sword is called a Zanpakuto and that it is special to each Soul Reaper. Naruto nodded, having to have some stuff dumbed down a bit to understand it more, but eventually after a few hours of walking and talking he understood most of it. You're going to get your robes now. These are the uniforms of Soul Reapers. As I told you, the only way you know a captain is because of the white robe over their Shinigami stuff. Kyoraku said as he let Naruto walk up and get his uniforms and whatnot. Kyoraku waited for Naruto to get his robes, telling him that he can put him on once we get into the 8th division. Okay, now we go to the 8th division. You are now part of the 8th squad, so hold your head up high, all right? Kyoraku said. By the way, I never got your name. Kyoraku said, looking down at the former shinobi. It's Naruto Uzumaki. He said. Nice to meet you, I'm Shunsui Kyoraku, but you can call me Kyoraku-sensei since as I said before I will be training you. You should be honored to be trained by me. I was trained by the man who founded this place, and now I'm going to pass my knowledge on to you. Kyoraku said and grinned as the two began to walk off. X. Low, middle, high, low, middle, high. Kyoraku lazily repeated as Naruto was stuck slashing at dummy with a bokken. Naruto was in the standard Soul Reaper uniform and he liked it better than his jumpsuit actually. It was more loose and free and he felt like he could do just about anything. His sword was strapped to his back for the meantime. Occasionally he would get it out and swing it just to get a feel for it. Naruto then growled and espered his sword in the ground and looked at Kyoraku. The captain was lying on the ground with his straw hat over his head and his legs crossed as he just now went to sleep. Kyoraku-sensei, Kyoraku-sensei. Naruto shouted out then threw a rock at him making him jolt up. HWUH, what are you doing? You need to continue your training low middle high. Kyoraku said. Training. This isn't training, this is just an excuse to go snoozing Kyoraku-sensei. Come on train me for real. Naruto said in a demanding tone. Look you can't go out slashing wildly, you need to know the basics so. Kyoraku said then grabbed his bokken and put it in his hand then said, low, middle, high. He then went back to his spot and began to watch him. Naruto grumbled and started to slash at the dummy at each direction Kyoraku called out. Sometimes he would trick him after getting him into an easy pattern. That would make Naruto fumble and drop his sword. Naruto was determined to slash at each direction Kyoraku called out. After a few hours Naruto started to get the hang of it and slashed at each direction correctly when Kyoraku called it out. After a few weeks of drills Kyoraku and Naruto began to spar. Naruto always was defeated by Kyoraku at some simple stuff but after the weeks went by Naruto began to develop into a swordsman that could put up a good fight. Months went by and Naruto and Kyoraku continued to spar with the bokken and become good friends. The only thing Naruto couldn't stand was Kyoraku's peeping, especially at his lieutenant at times. Naruto would always slap him upside the head when he did that, and they were that good of friends that he could actually do that. Occasionally Shigekuni and Chojiro would secretly observe their training. Chojiro was comparing the Naruto from before and the Naruto now and it surprised him how far he had advanced in sword skills. Yet there was one thing that Naruto didn't learn yet. Kido. What's a Kido? Naruto asked as Kyoraku introduced that word to him. It's another basic combat that Shinigami use. It is when we use our spiritual energy and compress it into a spell for binding or attacking. I won't be training you but my lieutenant who is somewhat scared in the art of Kido will. Kyoraku said as he looked back and introduced his lieutenant Nanao eyes. Well let me first tell you this about Kido. These are magical spells that use your energy so if you happen to know a high-level spell, doing it now will cause deaths. I'm only going to teach you low-level spells and when you feel like you're ready you can learn about it more. These spells can get you out of tough situations when you can't guess your way through things. Nanao said and Naruto nodded waiting for the lesson to begin. Nanao and Naruto began to walk toward an open field for a good place to train with these spells. Lisa then decided to ask where Naruto was before he came to the Soul Society. Naruto told her about Konoha and the friends he made there, and how the people treated him for something he didn't have any power over. Nanao felt bad for him but hid her sympathy by pushing up her glasses a bit with her fingers. Naruto had asked the lieutenant about her life here but she sorta shrugged it off the nicest way she could, not wanting to talk about it much in case she wasn't supposed to. They finally got to an open training field to practice on Kido. It was a small plain with trees surrounding the area and some of the grass SD off, but the dirt was still there. The grass itself wasn't luscious at all, it was mainly short and rough. Not the kind you would want to lay in and feel a bit comfy before feeling itchy. Okay, watch closely, I'm going to show you an explosive technique that would send your enemy back. It is a first level spell and is sorta tricky for beginners. When you start the training the enemy will be that rock, Nanao said pointing to a few medium-sized rocks around the field. Hado 1, thrust. Nanao chanted as an invisible force simply thrusted the rock backwards to a tree making it break. Wow, Naruto said a bit amazed at the spell even though it was low-leveled. If you say the spell's name it will give it more power than if you just mentally do it. If you work on it long enough, either concentration or training, this spell could be as devastating as a high Kido attack, but it in turn you will lose energy. Remember that, now you try it. Nanao said and stepped back as Naruto stepped up. Hado 1, thrust. Naruto chanted as he strained a bit and barely made the rock fly up into the air. He looked at the ground a bit disappointed but a bit amazed on how this technique was harder than it looked. No one gets it perfect on their first try. Nanao added as Naruto looked back up and chanted again but having the same result. Naruto continued to recite the words to the thrust spell, getting a bit better at it after each go around. Although this was making Naruto weaker, so his blasts got a bit sloppy and didn't even hit the target. They trained until sunset and Naruto was officially worn out to the point where he was on his knees panting. Who would have thought, a level 1 spell taking a toll on me this much? Naruto thought to himself as he slowly began to get up, getting help from Nanao. You did well for the first day, it won't be long until you're a master at this. Nanao said, which made Naruto smile as they walked back to the 8th division area. They continued simple Kido training for a week. Yoroiki still watched them from afar, gladly seeing Naruto's improvements. Kyoraku stopped by once or twice to deliver them some food. Naruto didn't know it, but Nanao saw that Kyoraku had taken a special interest in Naruto from the time he got here. He would also stop by Ukate's to get some training for the mind. With Ukate's tuberculosis, he couldn't have trained Naruto without getting struck by illness quickly. So to make up for it, Ukate decided to teach Naruto the history of the Soul Reapers, some scenarios for quick thinking, and other stuff. The two became good friends, and as time went on, Naruto became friends with almost everyone, except Byakuya. Byakuya despised Naruto since he had just got into the Soul Society and is treated as a Shinigami just because he has great Ryatsu. Weeks passed by and after 1 month things started to become a bit trickier in the real world and the Soul Society. Naruto woke up and put his Soul Reaper robes on and attached his sword beside his belt and walked out to be greeted by Nanao, but she had more of a worried look. Nanao, what's wrong? Naruto asked, worried. Naruto, something's happening in the real world, Konoha, your old home. Nanao said, then added, and some people came into the Soul Society, I don't know what they're after, but Captain Aizen's been acting strange as well. Naruto ignored the last part since he was more worried about his old home. Although he hasn't been there in 5 months, it was still his home and he had people he cared about there. Naruto ran over to Kyoraku's place and found that he was about to leave. Luckily, Kyoraku noticed Naruto before he left. Ah, Naruto, what do you want? Kyoraku asked. Nanao told me about something happening to Konoha. Do you know what exactly? Naruto replied out of fast. Yes, it seems like another village has decided to raid the village. Sound villages are everywhere and they're attacking this Hokage. Old man, Naruto whispered under his breath. What was that? Kyoraku asked, bending over to look Naruto in the eyes. Nothing. Is there any way I can return to Konoha? I think I have the power to help these people. Naruto said. Yes, there is a way. It's quite easy to get back to the real world, but we won't be seen by public unless they have a strong spiritual pressure and can see Soul Reapers, but if not, you will need a body so that you're like a regular person. And in order to get into your Soul Reaper state, your body will be limp and practically while you rush out. Only a people with enough spiritual pressure can see your presence if you don't have a regular body and whatnot. Kyoraku explained. F that. Kyoraku-sensei, I need to get there now. I don't give a s if they can see me. Naruto exclaimed, and Kyoraku sighed, then opened a portal-like rift for him to go back into the real world. Might I add that your power is sustained in that world, you're not at full power when you're in the real world. Kyoraku said, but by the time he said add, Naruto had jumped through the portal. Naruto got back into the real village and was standing on a tree facing the Konoha gates. He looked at it and had a warm feeling inside. Coming back home was good for him, but this was not the time for a welcome home party. Naruto saw a flood of sound ninja come to the gates and scatter into the village. Naruto dashed towards the village and jumped up to the gate and looked around. He saw Sound and Leaf village shinobi fight each other and boss falling to the ground. Naruto diagonally dashed and each sound ninja that got in his way as he made his way to a purple chamber that was on top of a building. Naruto had arrived at the Chunin area and sound ninja with his sword, of course. Kakashi and Guy were there, pounded sound ninja to a pulp. Kakashi looked to his left at the middle of the Chunin area and saw Naruto in the Soul Reaper clothes. Naruto, no way, he SD months ago. Kakashi thought to himself and ran over to Naruto, but was stopped by a disguised Anbu. Don't go near the middle of this place, it's dangerous. The Anbu said and pulled out a scalpel. Kakashi slashed off the mask which made the hood go back and it appeared to be Kabuto. The two then were fighting with kunai and scalpel which by that time Naruto was gone. Naruto was on top of one of the ledges at the Chunin exam area as he looked at the forest where he saw two ninjas and a dog run to the forest. Naruto slashed at 3 sound ninjas that attempted to chase them. The whiskered Soul Reaper then dashed into the forest as fast as he could, catching up to the ninjas but at a distance so they couldn't sense him. Is that Sakura? Naruto mumbled and looked closer to see the pink-haired ninja dash into the forest. They're chasing a boy named Sasuke. It seems like he followed a guy named Gaara who has a weird Ryatsu raging from him, a voice said, and Naruto looked back to see that it was Yoroiki in her black cat form. Yoroiki, when did you get here and why are you following me? Naruto asked, a bit freaked out. Well, I was waiting to talk to you alone without the captains getting in the way, and with that said I suggested to myself that you should see a man Urahara. He is the former 12th squad captain. I was thinking he could be of use into finding the name of your Zanpakuto. That should be your number one priority since without the name you cannot unleash its full potential. Yoroiki said as they continued to follow the two ninja. One of the ninjas headed back toward Naruto's direction. The paths crossed and Naruto looked to see the ninja twitch and look behind him. It was like a great wind just hit the ninja in the chest. Naruto examined the ninja and Yoroiki looked behind her too, then at Naruto. His name is Shikamaru Nara, a genin that took part in the Chunin exams. Yoroiki said. I see, it's been a while since I've seen genin that used to be like me. Naruto said, then looked back as he saw Sakura stop and after a few minutes get slammed into the tree by a hand made out of sand. What was that? Naruto exclaimed, a bit freaked out, and he sensed the person's spiritual pressure. His spiritual pressure is much different from a Soul Reaper, and a ninja's for that matter. What is this person? Naruto wondered, then caught a glimpse of Sasuke, who was wearing a black Uchiha shirt and pants and medical tape around his arms. Naruto then saw Sasuke charge up some electrical energy and charge at the figure with some weird markings around his face. Naruto stood on a tree limb to see the person that is Gaara. Gaara had half his face covered in weird sand with blue lines around it, his hand was bulged out with that sand and blue markings, and he had a tail with half of his body covered in this weird sand. Naruto saw Sasuke fall from the forest onto a limb below. Naruto looked as Gaara charged at the Uchiha for the final blow. Naruto diagonally dashed on the trees and grabbed Sasuke and propped him on a limb. It seems like all these people around me have strong spiritual pressure, maybe they can see me. Naruto thought as he held his sword in front of him and looked at the demonic Gaara. Gaara looked back and Naruto was right, he could see him. What do you want, Shinigami? Gaara shouted. It seemed like he knew about the Soul Reapers. Yoroiki went over to a safe spot and camped out to watch the fight. Leave my friends alone, Naruto said, pointing his sword at Gaara. Sasuke opened his eyes and he too could see Naruto in these Soul Reaper robes. Naruto, is that you? I thought you, SD, the Uchiha mumbled as he fell back unconscious. Fine, I'll just have to KO you first, Shinigami. Gaara shouted excitedly, but in a crazy tone. What do you know about the Soul Reapers? Naruto asked, curious on how he knew who he was. Please, I have heard about you guys from my ancestors and how we tried taking over your society. Now enough with the questions, time to S. Gaara shouted and lunged at Naruto. Naruto jumped down and put his foot on Gaara's large hand and pushed him back, then put his feet on the limb of a tree and dashed towards him. Naruto swinged his sword at Gaara's chest, but it was blocked by his sand tail. The two clashed as they started to stare each other down. Naruto officially decided that this guy was no pushover nor a ninja, he was something else. That will be all for this video. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment down below for more videos. Goodbye.